Alright, my pork chops are cooking out there. I've just turned on the heater. There it is. There's my Rocky cat right there. I've got the hot water bags in the bed. I think I've got them both in the bed. Let me check and make sure. There's one. Alright, where's the other one? I better go get the other one, I guess I do. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I've run into as somebody who believes in God. That is that oftentimes in dealing with non-believers, I will be challenged to prove that God exists scientifically. They'll say, you say God exists? Well, prove it with science. Here's the problem with that. Science is the study of the natural world. Really, the science is the study of God's creation, is what it really is, you know. It's not, I kind of got this bag all messed up here now. Science is not able to prove or disprove the existence of God. And the reason is that that's out of science. It's not within the wheelhouse of science. It's not what science does. Asking a scientist to ever prove or disprove the existence of God is like asking your mechanic to diagnose a suspicious lump that's growing somewhere on your body. You know, I mean, it's not what they do. They study the natural world, and basically what they do is they break down God's creation into its basic elements. They figure out how everything works. They figure out how the animals interact with each other. They figure out how the plants are made. They figure out how the oceans and the rivers work and all that. They figure out different things. Look, they figure out things like how we might exploit certain things, how we might take a plant and make a medicine out of it or whatever, you see. And those are valuable things. Those are things that benefit us for the most part, especially when science is applied as it should be applied, especially when science isn't corrupted by politics and so on. Unfortunately, science is often corrupted by politics, though. And, you know, I'll talk about that in just a minute, but I want to get back to what I was saying just now, which is science. God cannot be proven. The existence of God, or the non-existence of God for that matter, is not existing, cannot be proven. You can't make a case either way scientifically, because that's not what science does. Science studies the creation, which is natural. It studies the natural world. Science does not study the creator, you see. And so, I need to change the batteries in my light here, I do. It's getting a little dim. Anyway, science is the study of the creation. It's not the study of the creator. Now, we know what happened we saw what happened recently during the scamdemic, where scientists were used to promote things that were agendas, but just agendas that weren't good. These are scientists who were compromised one way or another. They were bought off, you know, basically bribed, blackmailed, browbeaten, or bullied into going along with the program and into promoting things that they themselves knew weren't right, you know. But, you know, it's like this. If you're a scientist in that situation, and you know You see what happens to scientists who don't cooperate. You see how they end up being discredited, how they lose their careers a lot of the time. Most people aren't really strong enough to cope with that. Most people have a hard time uh, with that idea. You're just going to give up your career, basically. You know, yeah, for because in order not to participate in corruption. So basically, what you get is a corrupted version of science that comes into play when these things happen. And you know, people with a bad agenda, people who are serving Lucifer and promoting his agenda, those people, where did my fork go? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Yes, it is right there. Those people, they will they'll try and force the scientists to go along with these things, and they have a great deal of success because these are people who can ruin you if you don't go along with them. And so what happens ultimately is the scientists, they go along, they go on television, they tell whatever lie they're told to tell in order to save their own necks, and or out of greed because they're being very well paid to do it. So they basically whore themselves out. And then the scientists who won't go along, they're discredited. We're told that they're in the wrong and they're not good scientists and so on. But the bottom line is, when there's a Luciferian agenda being pushed, then there's always going to be a corrupted version of science that's being pushed at the same time. Lucifer corrupts everything he touches. That's just how Lucifer is. And so it stands to reason that that a corrupted version of science is going to come into play in these situations. But when science is applied as it should be applied, when science is applied without a political agenda and without any kind of evil intent, science is good. Nothing wrong with science. But science has its place. And the place, science cannot prove or disprove the existence of God. And the reason for that is that science is the study of the natural world, and God is supernatural. It's out of their wheelhouse. It's not, it's like the example I gave just a little bit ago about, going to your mechanic because you got a suspicious lump or something, showing them a lump on your breast or whatever. Say, what's this? You'd be saying, well, it's a lump. You ought to go to a doctor, get that looked at, that's what he would tell you. And he'd be right to tell you that, because that would be out of his wheelhouse. How would he know? To be irresponsible for somebody who isn't qualified to diagnose that. Like, yeah, look, if you come in here and your engine's knocking, I can tell you why, but I don't know what this is. You need to go to your doctor. Do you take your car to your doctor? Why are you here with this? That's probably what the guy would tell you. But the bottom line is, when people say, prove the existence of God scientifically, or I won't believe, they're applying that kind of logic, like the person taking their, something that's wrong in their body to their mechanic, or taking their car that isn't working right to their doctor. I mean, Anyway, the bottom line is, it's a fallacy to think that If science can't prove it, it don't exist. I mean, even in the natural world, it takes sometimes tens or hundreds or thousands of years for science to prove or disprove something. There are all kinds of things that science knew nothing about not all that long ago. Science has made great strides in so many ways just over the last 100 years or so. And but it does go to show that even things that are within science's mandate, within the mandate of legitimate science, um, they get proven when they get proven, or they get disproven when they get disproven. But there's a certain thing there where science knows more now than it did, but it doesn't know as much as it will know. So, and that's the things that science actually studies. It knows about, or doesn't know about, or will know about, or knows more about than it did know about, but not as much as it will know about, you see. So we certainly can't expect science to be getting into the supernatural and proving or disproving supernatural things. I mean, yeah, all right, science can't prove God exists. That's not science's job. That's the bottom line. We rely on other things. We rely a lot on faith because we're living in a physical world. And the spiritual component of it can be overlooked or rejected if you really want to do that. I don't think it's advisable myself, but it can be done. Because the world is a physical place that we're living in. We're living in physical bodies here. We're living in physical surroundings, So we can discount the spiritual component of it relatively easily if we choose to do so. But the bottom line is, I don't think that's a wise thing. I believe the physical and the spiritual commingle, that they coexist. And for each and every one of us, the physical part of it is going to end. And at that point, it'll be 100% spiritual. So imagine the disadvantage that those who just won't accept even the possibility of spiritual things and the possibility even of God, of a great creator, a great father in heaven. Imagine the disadvantage those people will be at. It's actually really sad. But the bottom line is, when people ridicule you for believing in God and they say, oh, you believe in the sky genie and all that business, and they try to make you out to be some sort of a backward savage or something, doesn't believe in science and all the rest of it. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau in Canada, he said that if you don't believe in these shots that we're pushing, then you're anti-science. He said then you're a racist and you're a misogynist and you're homophobic and you're anti-science and you're taking up space, and how long should we put up with you? That's basically it. That's what he said in a nutshell. Well, none of that is true. I mean, you can not believe in something, and especially something that was presented to you with a corrupted version of science, which it turns out they were. Those shots were presented to us with a corrupted version of science. And we know that now. The proof is mounting all the time. We're seeing more and more evidence of it. So, bottom line is, again, this is what the devil does when he and his people are pushing an agenda. And unfortunately, the world is ran by people because it's a fallen world. And these systems are the devil's systems. They belong to him. They belong to Lucifer. When the devil tempted Jesus in the desert after Jesus went on his 40-day fast, one of the things the devil did is he showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth. He laid them out at Jesus' feet. And he said, I'll give you all this if you just get down on your knees and worship me. Jesus told him to go away. But Jesus didn't say, those aren't yours. He didn't contradict the devil's ownership. The devil claimed ownership of those things, and Jesus did not contradict him. Jesus just said, not interested, get lost, basically. He didn't say that exactly, but that's what it boiled down to. You know, I mean, if somebody comes to you and they want to sell you something, some guy comes to you and he wants to sell you a car, and he has the paperwork, he has the title to the car, he can prove it's his. You don't dispute his ownership, but you may not want that car. You may say, well, I don't want the car. Go away. Sell your car to somebody else. I don't want it. But, I mean, you don't dispute that the car belongs to the guy. If he's got the paperwork, if it's got his name on it and so on, it belongs to him. The same was true with Jesus when he interacted with the devil in the desert after 40 days. Never once did he accuse the devil of claiming ownership of something that he didn't own. He just said, I'm not interested. Go away. I don't want that junk. Go away. That's what it was. So, you know, like I say, these systems do belong to the devil. And I believe a lot of the people, a lot of the politicians and so on, a lot of the higher ups are fully aware of who they're serving. I think that's possible. There are some who don't know. There are some who don't know who they're serving. And there's even some who serve God despite being in that situation. They really strive to serve God. I believe those people exist as well. Although I think they're few and far between, because that system doesn't have a whole lot of tolerance for people who would serve God. With it being the devil's system and so on, it wouldn't. But the bottom line is, it is the devil's system. The devil corrupts everything he touches. There's no reason in the world to think that any science that's presented by the devil's system to push an agenda wouldn't be corrupt. And that any scientist going along with that isn't compromised in some way. And so, yeah, so like I say, so what happens though is then, if you take a Christian point of view, if you say, I won't go along with this because I see the evil in it, and I don't want any part of it, and that's the point of view you take, then right away they say, oh, well, you're just backwards, and you're a science denier, and you're this, and you're that, and, you know, they make you out to be some sort of a backward savage who doesn't believe in science, basically, you know, who's just totally stupid and backward. Anyway, refusing to accept a corrupted version of science or anything else is not proof of a person being backward. It's actually proof of a person having discernment. And those who refused to go along with the program did so because they had discernment, not because they weren't believers in science, not because they were backward and stupid, you know, not because they were running around completely just not believing in science, you know, or whatever. But like I say, that's what the devil will do. He'll present you with a corrupted version of something, and he'll present it as if it's legitimate. And then if you see through it, he'll discredit you. If you see through the lie, he'll discredit you. Now, he did that through the scamdemic anyway. In a lot of ways, he did that. But getting back to my original point, though, when science is practiced, even when it's practiced the way it's supposed to be practiced, you're not going to prove or disprove the existence of God scientifically. That's not what science is for. So it's just not going to happen. It's a matter of faith. It's a matter of, you know, seeing it. I mean, we do have proof. Really, we do. The common sense even would tell you There's no way that this creation is an accident. You know, if I have a beat up old car and I'm driving it and I get into an accident, for one thing, that's the result of stupidity. It's not the result of intelligence. God is highly intelligent and God is a creator. Having an accident and wrecking your car happens because of either your stupidity or somebody else's stupidity. You know, because you made a bad judgment, or another driver made a bad judgment, or something. You know, there's generally some stupidity involved in that when that happens. There's a lack of intelligence there. And an accident will take your old, if you have a brand new shiny car, or you have an old, say a classic that you fully restored and it's beautiful, an accident will smash it all to hell and wreck it. You know, and like I say, if you have a car that's already in bad shape, it'll be in even worse shape after an accident. It's not like you have an accident and your old jalopy of a car that's all rusted and dented and has all kinds of mechanical problems and everything, and then the car comes out the other end of it fully restored. You know, now if you take the car to a mechanic and to a body shop and you have the car fixed, you can have the car restored, but there again, that takes intelligence. Those people have to know what they're doing. Those people have to have abilities and skills and talent and knowledge, and they have to apply those things, and then they can fix your car up and your car will be beautiful. You know, but an accident is not going to cause your car to be beautiful. They say this creation is the result of a gas explosion. Well, have you ever seen a building that suffered a gas explosion? You know, it doesn't make the building better, you know. It really doesn't. So that's what I'm saying anyway. Accidents and gas explosions and accidents and whatnot, you know, they don't create anything but chaos and damage. That's all they do. They cause damage, they make chaos, and so on, which again, the devil tends to defile everything he touches, and he tends to bring chaos wherever he goes. God, on the other hand, is the great creator. See, the devil is like the drunk driver who causes the accident, smashes up your car. God is like the body shop man, very talented body shop man who fixes your car. You know, and that's the difference. But if you my goodness, if you make out like again, you say, well, it's the result of a gas explosion. All this creation, it's because of a gas explosion. Well, like I say again, it doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It can't be. That's not how things work in the world, you know. And yeah, but anyway, that's about it. I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm going to shut this down. I need to get my dishwater on. Oh, wrong kettle. Okay, we'll put this kettle over here because it's empty now. We bring this other kettle over. We'll put it on. All right, I'll turn off this light. Bring the funnel in. We'll bring the water in. We'll bring the pork chops in. Yeah, hey. Ho, don't they look good? All right. I'll put them up here for now. And there's no room in here to put anything, so we have to improvise, do the best we can. That's it. Anyway, I'm going to have my pork chops. We'll see you later.